Yes, sir.
Give it time, Mayor, when you come back.
Yeah, good point.
We could open our presents.
Okay, it is 4:13. We have come out of executive session, and as always, no decisions were made during executive session. So back to the purpose of our meeting, the consideration of a settlement agreement with Tidal Wave Water Sports that has been properly signed by both parties, including our LLC. I made a motion and we have a second. Do we have any other discussion before we vote?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make some comments if I
Yes,
could.
sir.
I just want to go on record to say that I'm in favor of a settlement also. I do not want to drag this out. I think the remarks that were made by our citizens' comments were pretty much spot on in regards to dragging this out into long litigation. I'm not in favor of that. I'm in favor of us settling this in a proper manner. But I am going to vote nay today on this issue. And the reason I'm going to vote nay is the nature and the process of the way we called this meeting today. Back on December the 7th, we left a special council meeting, basically tacitly, and later on in the Island Eye News on the front page article saying that we would not have another council meeting for the remainder of the year, and that this would be brought over to the next council that would be seated. I think that's the right thing to do, in my opinion, is to take it over to the next council. It was stated publicly. It's something that I think the public has a right to sort of dwell on until we have that new council seated and have a chance to, to process that. We have a situation here, December 22nd, meeting posted on Friday of last week. And most people or a lot of people on this island are either out of town or they have family in. They're not sitting there looking at isleofpalms.net and don't even know that we're having this meeting right now, quite honestly. I had a meeting this morning with a chairperson of one of our committees on this island, a person who was in the know, from a political standpoint in regards to the island itself. And he had no idea that we had a special council meeting this afternoon. So I look at that and I just wonder why we're having this meeting at the 11th hour, basically, to address this issue when we ought to do what, in my mind, is the right thing and make sure that we follow through what we said we were going to do earlier this month. And basically, people look at social media, they look at print media like the Island Eye, they read what they read, they see what they see on Facebook and otherwise. And I think we're going to have some blowback on this, if you will, council by us rushing into this at the 11th hour, making the decision to settle now rather than taking it into next year, as we implied pretty explicitly that we were going to do. So again, I'm in favor of a settlement. I just think that it could wait another month for us to address it. And I think this really comes back to the question that we've been criticized before, and I'll say rightfully so in this case, of not being transparent, not having good communication. I think this is one situation here where we demonstrate that is a reality, not a perception for this particular meeting. I won't say that for other meetings we've had, because I think that we have had situations where there was a perception that was really not reality. In this case, I think we're just rushing it too much. So thank you for the time, and I will yield back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Ward.
I'd like to bring up something that was discussed. No decision was made in the executive session, but something was discussed. I think it's very important that Mr. Pounds asked. Would you mind stating that for the public?
Sure. Yeah. So thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So one of my questions was around, we had filed as a city an appeal last Thursday by the due date. And my question was more around, should we let that legal process take its place? And if so, how long would that take? And according to our city attorney sitting here with us, that would be a 2+ year process to appeal what happened over the last few months. And so that's a 2+ year process, Jimmy. Thank you.
Councilmember Gannon.
Thank you. And I wasn't planning on saying anything, but just in response to Councilman Streetman's statement is, we've had nothing but special meetings for the last 2 years, a number of them. And we've had no problem in making votes and casting those time. I think just prolonging this and kicking the can down the road is one of the biggest problems that the citizens have with this council, is just not doing anything and just putting it on to another council. And it's not taking a stance. It's not good government. And we need to take a stance, and either if you don't like it, then vote no, but don't say this fact that we need to let somebody else vote on it. We've been working on this thing for 2 years. There's nobody more qualified to make this vote than the council that's sitting here right now. And I think we need to move forward with it, close this chapter and move on.
Councilmember Smith.
I would agree with Councilmember Buchanan in that I believe we need closure, and that the people who have been following this matter for the past 2 years are the best people to make this final decision. And it's time for us to move on into a new chapter of making good things happen at the marina. And I think it's actually fitting, not that I would have wished it to happen in a special meeting, but that we are the ones who make this final decision.
Anyone else?
It's just time to move on.
I will add my 10 cents worth is we represent the residents, the tax-paying residents of Isle Palms. And it's time for this chapter to end. And I think, as Ryan aptly said, let's just get it over with. Let's start the new council off with a clean slate and be proud of a marina that's going to be developed into something that we can all be very prideful of. Nicole, I think we're ready for a vote. Oh,
Can I just say one thing?
Of course you
real-
can.
real quick? You didn't call for the vote, just because I can't.
no, we're good.
I've been all over on this conversation or this decision point, for the last 2 weeks or so, and have felt both ways, kind of where Rusty is and Ryan, where you are, given what this council's dealt with for the last really 3 years. If you think about this topic. And, this council is much more up to speed on where somebody in the future is going to be. I could get on either side of this conversation, push it to the next council, have this council kind of close out. I also don't like that we're sitting here on the 22nd with a very quick meeting. Given another 30 days to our citizens to review this contract, it's not going to change the contract. We're not going to change the provisions. We're not going to change what we're settling. So like I said, I've been all over it, and I'm going to vote in favor of it, just because I think it is time to move on. Thank you. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Okay, Nicole.
Aye.
Nay.
Councilmember Ward,
Aye.
Councilmember Buchanan. Got me.
Mhm.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Pounds.
Aye.
Mayor Carroll,
Aye.
motion passes.
Thank you very much. Do I
Motion
have
to
a-
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Record 421.